What's that? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's ice.
Oh shit! Run!
Okay, so the Superman actor from I believe it was the '90s TV show. It's publicly announced that he's joining ICE. I find this interesting on multiple levels, but okay. Superman actor Dean Cain announced his intention to join ICE amid backlash from Hollywood peers. Okay. Actor Dean Cain, widely recognized for his portrayal in Superman in the 1990s series Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, has made headlines by announcing his plans to join the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE as an agent. It sparked a mixed reaction of support and criticism.
What are you going to be doing at ICE?
Well, let me go back a minute here, Jesse. This is all your fault, by the way. And
Yeah?
I'll explain why.
Why?
Because I put out a recruitment video yesterday. I'm actually a deputy sheriff, a sworn deputy sheriff, and a reserve police officer. I wasn't part of ICE. But once I put that out there and you put a little blurb on your show, it went crazy. So now I've spoken with some officials over at ICE, and I will be sworn in as an ICE agent ASAP. So they'll have 80,001 recruits for their 10,000 positions.
Well, they can't have a better guy than Dean Cain. Are you going to be hopping out of ICE fans and apprehending guys?
I will do whatever Director Lyons wants me to do. If that's what it takes, absolutely. I somehow doubt I'll be in that position, but I would be there in a heartbeat. These brave men and women need someone to stand up for them. So rarely, these days are we seeing that. Someone like Daniel Penny stands up, he gets vilified. Dan Bongino steps up, gives up $5 million a year, and goes and takes his position at the FBI. This is the kind of thing where people have to step up. I'm stepping up. Hopefully, a whole bunch of other former officers, former ICE agents.
Okay, clearly he's showing a strong right-wing position. I'm not one personally for grandstanding on your political standings, but maybe he believes in what he's doing.
Well, I'm sure where he lives, there's a lot of things that could be rectified when it comes to illegals.
Cain now 59. Yeah, he's 59. He doesn't look like it. But he's part Japanese, and they sometimes tend to look more useful. He stated, "I plan to be sworn in as ICE agent ASAP, framing his choice as a patriotic act. The country was built on patriots stepping up, whether it was popular or not." And you might hear that statement and go, "Ugh," or you might hear that statement and go, "Hell yeah!" But what do you think about history for a moment? Besides things like slavery, think of all the things that was done in history that we champion, that we still champion today. And we're like, that's what America's built on. And you don't see an issue with it. But now, at this moment that this is so highly politicized, you do. Now, I'll say you were a British person back when they diverted from Britain to come to America. There was a lot of people who was like, "Oh, those traitors," right? But then other people was like, "A great country was born from that." It's odd when you are outside looking in.
Well, I mean, people, they want to glorify Paul Revere's right and the Boston Tea Party and all that kind of thing. But they can't understand why he may feel like it's his patriotic duty to join ICE. Because like I said, there may be some stuff going on where he lives that he sees every day that he's that frustrated about.
Well, okay, I don't want people breaking up families and uprooting people. Of course I don't. But I'm looking at it like this. In many ways, they're bringing gangs and they're straining the economy. I think the economies are artificially strained anyway, but the population we have is unsustainable.
Yeah.
They were here illegally and knew it. It's kind of like, oh, you have to come across the border and you're not supposed to be here, but they're kind of relaxed on it for the moment. They're like, okay, I'm gonna start a family here and get a job. What? Why would you risk that, knowing it was against the highest law of the land? Why would you do that?
Well,
So yeah, I'm not up for uprooting families and taking people out of jobs, but why would they come knowing it was illegal to make a life here?
well, they knew the risks when they came and didn't bother to go through the process.
I know the answer might be because they were running from gang violence in Mexico or some sort like that, right? But I'm kind of like, well, you kind of brought a lot of that here with you.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't have any problem with immigrants coming into the country as long as they go through the process.
And I prefer they speak the language.
Yeah. Well,
I hate it. I hate to go into a place, right? Okay, I don't know Spanish. I know a lot of you out there do. But when I was still in school, they didn't teach it. I was in a small school. But anyway, I hate being in a place and you hear what to you sounds like gibberish. All around you is like, the fuck? What? When did I come to New Mexico? Little Mexico, whatever, right? And it's like, they should have the courtesy there in this country to speak the language, because oftentimes, not every time, of course, not every time, but oftentimes when they're speaking this, they're giving you looks. Clearly, they're talking about you and they know that you're not following it.
yeah.
There are times that happens, of course, not every time.
But I mean, like I was saying, I don't have any problems with immigrants coming into the country as long as they go through the process to become a citizen.
Here's
My
the thing,
problem-
I've said before, I don't like, when the people go, call me ma'am, right? Because you're trying to affect the free speech of others. But there is a difference with this, because this country was brought up on English speakers. And it's always been that way. It's the standard. But then you're going to go into a place, and I'm not even talking about like a Mexican restaurant. I'm talking about a general public place, and they're jabbering around you in this language. And you're like, well, fuck, have the common courtesy, have the decency to go with the standard. You're not over there anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've said, I don't mind immigrants coming over legally, but when they start pouring in like rats off a sinking ship and they can't speak the language and they're taking jobs away from people and putting a strain on the economy, I have a problem with that. And after all, there's only so much room.
I know there's people out there going, they're not taking anybody's job. I've been at the bottom. I walked into a slaughterhouse and I gave them 4 forms of identification, valid, government issued. They're like, you don't have enough forms of identification. As I see people all around speaking Spanish, I'm going, and they had more than 4 forms. Are you telling me? Are you fucking serious?
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in a furniture plant where they would hire in big groups of people at one time, and once they brought in a group of non-English speakers, a whole group of them at once. Typically, it was the locals. But I guess this is when other locals come in, non-English speaking ones, and they were standing there going, I can't imitate it well, but they were going, I make $5 a day. I'm going, no, this is, keep in mind this was in the 90s, but I was like, no, an hour. And I was trying to be helpful, right? They didn't know how much they were being paid. They could barely string together half a sentence. I don't know, it felt like they were taking advantage of them.
Yeah. Well,
But on with the article. So ICE, which recently eliminated its age limit, applicants previously set at 40. I find that interesting, because men over 40 doing these physical acts, it's funny to think, I mean, how desperate are they? So Congress has also approved a substantial budget increase, raising the agency's annual funding from $8 billion with a B to approximately $28 billion with a B. They really want to get these people out, don't they?
yeah.
It seems a bit much. I mean, yeah, I could see wanting to do this. I could kind of see it, but it seems rather desperate, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Kane brings some background to the role, having served as a reserve police officer for nearly a decade. Kane has recently commented on cultural shifts in Hollywood, notably criticizing the James Gunn Superman reboot. So he took issue with director James Gunn's description of Superman as an immigrant, arguing it reflects a woke agenda. And James Gunn, unless I'm mistaken, I could be, but I believe he came forward and said that he was making a statement by calling Superman an immigrant.
Yeah.
Now, if an alien spaceship crashes to Earth, I don't really lump that in the same category with that's an immigrant.
No, it's a little bit different.
Kane's personal history adds another layer to his decision. His biological father was of Japanese descent, and family experienced the internment camps during World War II. That does bring a layer of complexity.
Yeah.
The announcement quickly drew a sharp response from John Leguizamo. Fuck, can you say it?
Mm-mm.
I'm bad with names. It's like, oh, he's one of those I can't. No, it's just really I'm bad with names.
Yeah, you're terrible with
What
names.
kind of loser volunteers to be an ICE officer? What a moron. Dean Kane, your pronouns are has been.
Yeah, what movie has he been in recently?
I do not know.
But I don't know of one. Anyway, I could kind of see why he might take it personal. I can. But this is a hard thing. I mean, either you pull the trigger and do it, or it never gets done and they keep pouring in.
Yeah.
Comedian Margaret Cho, I believe is how it's pronounced. Okay, Cho. Weighed in with racial charged remarks suggesting Kane is attempting to be white and will never be white due to his heritage. He's trying to be white, huh? So I
That
guess
doesn't make any sense.
so I guess there's no black ICE officers.
I guess not.
Damn, this potato head.
Why would you join ICE and encourage people to join ICE when your ancestors were interned in World War II and you're Japanese? Like you're not even white. Like you're not white. I know you, and you are not white. You have never been white, and no matter how many of these white activities that you participate in, is never going to make that happen. You're never going to be white, no matter how racist you are. No matter how wrong you act, you're never going to be you're always wrong, never white, dumbass.
Okay,
Well, she's
I
just
can't help
rude.
I can't help but say it. If someone did want to be white, what's so wrong with that? I'm not saying he
Nothing.
wants to be white. I'm not saying that. But it's like, you just want to be white. Whatever. They were like, hell yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at all
No.
these people out there wanting to be black.
Yeah. I don't think he's
So-
wanting to be white.
Yeah, I don't really see that either. It seems more of like a patriotic thing.
Yeah.
Public reaction on social media has been polarized, but leans towards support for Kane in many circles. I think ultimately he's got more against him, but yeah, I'm sure he's got support too. Whether Kane's move will inspire others to join ICE remains to be seen, but it has undeniably shifted the spotlight onto the agency and its mission at a critical juncture. I doubt it will, I doubt it will, but this is all quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Especially since his parents, his ancestors were interned in World War II. But me personally, I think he's just doing it because he feels the patriotic duty to do so.
And you could say he's the first non-white Superman.
Yeah.
I know in today's terms they're like they gotta be they gotta be a trans bi person of color in a wheelchair, and only then will it count. But you know they're fucked in the head. But anyway, with that, we're out.